What's up, everyone, and welcome back to yet another weekend recap, the 37th of this disjointed season. My name is Adrian, one piece of the mysterious channel that is Rabona TV. Who's behind it? Is it one guy? Is the squad larger than we think? And Adrian is just the tip of the iceberg? You'll never know, so fire away with your conspiracy theories. If there's one thing a football fan likes, it's a conspiracy theory, as we'll talk about in this episode. All right? Let's go. To start, it will surprise nobody that Bayern Munich won the Dfb-Pokal final relatively easily. When I saw that it would be Bayer Leverkusen in the final with them, I did hold on to some hope that they would give Bayern a very tough match, but this Bayern team is just way too good, man. They haven't lost a match since December 7th across all competitions. That's nuts. Robert Lewandowski with a brace, Gnabry and Alaba with the other goals for Bayern. Lewandowski has scored 51 goals now this season, 34 in the league, 11 in the Champions League, and 6 in the DFB-Pokal. Insane season. Give him the Ballon d'Or. I stand by it. He looks better at 31 years old than he did at 28, the so-called prime of his career. Just a reminder that Bayern got him for free from Dortmund. Well, not really free per se, as they no doubt gave him a hefty signing bonus, but still, no transfer fee. So now Bayern will have to focus on staying sharp with their 1 month break without competitive fixtures. They won't be playing again until the Champions League tournament in early August when they face off against Chelsea in their second leg. Yes, Champions League tournament, my friend. Oh, you didn't know about the tournament? Well, I have a video for you in that case if you want to find out what's happening in the Champions League and the format changes to end this season's competition. Click the iCard here, my guy. Oh, La Liga, the OG of the leagues that contain the most calls for refereeing controversy, though Portugal is giving them a run for their money, I gotta say. But anyways, right now the sentiment seems to be back that Real Madrid is getting all the controversial calls in their favor. It seems to be traded back and forth depending on which team is on top in any particular season, to be honest with you. Real Madrid played Athletic Bilbao, a strong side, and interestingly, after the match, this is me getting ahead of myself, of course, because I'm talking about after the match already. But after the match, Zinedine Zidane said that James Rodriguez wasn't called up to the matchday squad because he had asked Zidane not to call him up. That's interesting. Where do you think he's going to end up? But during the match, while Athletic did indeed cause some difficulties for Madrid, Madrid should have buried them by 3 or 4 goals. Very wasteful in their finishing and final ball on the day, as they should have taken the lead just 3 minutes into the match when Carvajal's cross from a rebound was way too high for Benzema to get any sort of meaningful contact on it. Poor from Carvajal there. Asensio also put in a great ball into the box that Rodrigo Goes should have made much more of, as he was unmarked at the back post. Poor from him, though not entirely unexpected coming from a headed finish by the youngster. Real Madrid did take the lead through a penalty. To me, that has to be given, as this just extremely clumsy defending there, and you're forcing the referee into punishing that. And in turn, Sergio Ramos punished Athletic from the spot, scoring his 10th of the season, his 5th in the last 7 matches for Real Madrid. He's the first defender to hit 10 goals since Pernia in 2006. He did it for Getafe. Now, speaking of Sergio Ramos, let's talk some controversy. In the 75th minute, when Ramos was tracking back, he stepped on Raul Garcia's foot quite carelessly. Now, the ball didn't enter the box in this play, so he wasn't challenging Garcia. It was back in Madrid's midfield and sort of sprayed out to the wing. But it's a weird one, because if you start giving penalties for stuff like this, where someone accidentally steps on someone else's foot, then you're going to be giving penalties at every single free kick and corner. Mind you, he's being careless and clumsy, and it's a foul in the box. So for me, it's another one where if it's given, I would have some questions, but I would get it. Though when it's not given, I can understand the referee's justifications a bit more, you know? But VAR could be improved so much if they just had some transparency and they broadcasted the communications between the referee and the VAR. Why keep it secret? Let us know what's going on. Otherwise, the conspiracies will never stop. All that said, regarding it perhaps being an accident, it's Sergio Ramos, one of the masters of the accidentally on purpose foul. I mean, he did another accidentally on purpose foul on Dani Garcia in the same match. Again unpunished because he's the master of making the deliberate look accidental, and therefore perhaps it should. I don't know anymore, man. What do you guys think? Penalty or no? All I know is that there will be some Sergio Ramos apologists out there saying that he has an unfair reputation and people are only talking about it because it's Sergio Ramos and blah, blah, blah. Nah! Where there's smoke, there's fire. Reputations aren't built out of nothing. Just accept that he's sneaky and often dirty. It's no smudge on your reputation for just accepting that. I promise you, no one will judge you for accepting that. And don't get me wrong, I don't hate Sergio Ramos. I think that football needs villains, and he's an excellent villain, and you got to give it up to him. He was an elite defender at one time. He's still quite good, and he also has now scored more goals than Figo, Zidane, and Xavi, which is incredible for a center back. Anyway, moving on from controversy because it's quite draining to speak about, to be honest with you. Valencia and Granada played out a 2-2 draw in what was an important-ish match in regards to European qualification for the two clubs. In the race for European spots, they needed a win to stay in it. But Valencia, of course, sacked their second coach of the season in Albert Celades at the beginning of the week due to another rotten run of results. They've won just once since the return of La Liga and only twice in their last 15 matches, which is just rotten form. This result doesn't suit either team much, as both are in need of points, as they both sit on 47 but are only 5 points behind Getafe with 4 matches to go. You never know, but they have to start winning matches if they want European football. Atletico Madrid continue their improved form as they beat basement boys RCD Mallorca 3-0 at the Metropolitano. Another fairly average performance from my guy João Felix, which has me thinking his confidence is just completely shaken. That miss in the 22nd minute from this range, he's burying that 11 out of 10 times for Benfica last season. You know what I mean? But anyways, after Morata had his penalty saved, it was taken again due to Reina having been adjudged to have come off of his line. This is harsh, man. That's way too harsh in my opinion, especially when Morata scores from the retake. His second, however, was a great bit of movement from Morata as he lost his man at the back post and Llorente's ball was inch perfect. His new, more advanced role is suiting him quite well. His best performance there since probably their 5-0 win against Osasuna in mid-June. Koke with the third, funny deflection after a poor clearance attempt, 3-0 Atletico, easy money for Simeone. Barcelona versus Villarreal. Editor Adrian is going to take on this match, alright? Take it away, Editor Adrian.
Hello, Editor Adrian here again, this time talking about Barcelona with Steven. Barcelona actually played quite well against Villarreal, namely in the first half where they blitzed them for 3 goals. Griezmann was back in the starting lineup and he made the most of his opportunity, to be honest with you, against what you could consider to be a solid team in Villarreal. An own goal started things off for Barca, then Messi set up Luis Suarez and Griezmann. Griezmann's chip was sublime. And Ansu Fati killed off Villarreal late. Good win and good changes from Setien to the team. That win ensures Real Madrid's lead is still 4 points, and Atletico Madrid is 11 points behind Barcelona.
Liverpool got their guard of honor for Manchester City, but they perhaps should have given City a guard of honor as they left the pitch after 90 minutes, given the baptism they gave to Liverpool during the match, 4-0. And I mean, it wasn't unexpected. This Liverpool team won the club's first league title since before many of them were even born, and will no doubt have been living large prior to the City match. And also, let's be real, besides the Crystal Palace match, Liverpool have been, I wouldn't say poor, but they haven't been themselves for the last little while, even pre-COVID break. This City team, man, if they can find this kind of form for next season and the likes of Phil Foden come to the fore, they learn to defend properly and get Aymeric Laporte a new set of legs that are incapable of getting injured, and he guides Eric Garcia on, I mean, watch out, they could be good. Mind you, they need to also watch out as after smashing Liverpool, they went ahead and lost to Southampton after Che Adams smacked a goal from 40 yards out or so that looped over Ederson. To be honest with you, while City had almost all of the ball in this match, Southampton could have scored a couple more goals. And if they had, my God, brutal. While City had a flurry of chances throughout the second, namely towards the end, none of them were that dangerous in that last little 10 to 15 minutes or so. A ton of crosses that were headed away by the Southampton defense, a ton of blocked attempts, and Southampton win. City have lost 3 away matches in a row now, which Pep Guardiola had never done before, and they did so against the team with the worst home record in the entire league. What is up with these dudes? On Saturday, however, Manchester United beat up on the likely to be relegated Bournemouth. Things looked a little shaky when Maguire defended poorly and got burnt for the first goal. De Gea too, with another goal conceded at his near post. Man, that guy is looking... oof. United switched on thanks to another Bruno Fernandes masterclass. First, he set up Greenwood in great form also. Then Rashford scored from the spot. Then Bruno set up Martial to make it 3-1 by the time the first half was up. Although, saying Bruno set up Martial's goal is a bit of a stretch, as Martial did all of the work to smack that one into the top corner. Incredible strike. Anyway, Greenwood begged a brace, and Bruno added one himself with a free kick in the second half to complete the destruction. 5-2 Manchester United. They've won 3 on the trot, unbeaten in 9. And Pogba's looking happy. Fantastic stuff at United. Arsenal went away to Molineux to take on Wolves, a Wolves team that was on an 8-match unbeaten run at the time. And with all of their recent frailties, Arsenal played this one well. Wolves isn't a team that necessarily likes to have a ton of the ball. They try to kill teams on the counter. But in surrendering some possession to them, Arsenal almost out-Wolves'd Wolves. Adding to the fact that Wolves generally looked a bit poor in the final third and a bit porous in defense, and it made for favorable conditions for the Arsenal. Tierney's deflected ball into the box found Bukayo Saka, the man who had just signed a new contract this past week, and he swiveled his hips to volley past Patricio just before the end of the first half. Then, 2 guys who I find have been poor lately, Joe Willock and Alexandre Lacazette. They linked up at the end of the match to make it 2-0. Great ball from Willock, clean work from Lacazette with the finish. 2-0 Arsenal, good win. Chelsea knew that they have to keep winning in order to stave off the likes of Manchester United and Wolves, and they did so up against Watford. Giroud, Willian, and good old Ross B. Rossi Barks, the Bark boy, Big Barky, scored his second goal in 3 matches to deliver a 3-0 win to Chelsea, and more anxiety to the Watford supporters as they are just a single point above the relegation zone. Oh yeah, and on Thursday, Tottenham lost 3-1 against Sheffield United. Horrendous result for them, though I do feel for them just a tiny bit, as Harry Kane's equalizer in the first half was disallowed in a very unlucky fashion, you gotta say. But hey, beyond that, they were simply not good enough and they deserve to lose. Is it the squad or is it Mourinho? To be honest with you, I can't really defend Mourinho anymore, but then again, Pochettino couldn't get anything out of the squad anymore, so just a bad mix in general, I guess. And their final position in the table may not be good enough if this continues, as they're currently in 10th. Italia, after the club that has stolen my heart, Atalanta, marched on to their club record 7 consecutive wins with a 2-0 victory over Napoli. My weekend was already made as far as Italy goes, but we move, as the 30th round of matches was kicked off with the Turin Derby between Juve and Torino. Not the most competitive derby, as Juve haven't lost to Torino since 2015 across all competitions, and that of course didn't change here. Paulo Dybala scored a tasty goal just 2 minutes into the match as his fine form continues. He scored in each of his last 4 appearances. The man who set him up, Juan Cuadrado, then scored one of his own after a half an hour of play. As I wrote on Twitter, the revelation of my weekend was realizing that Juan Cuadrado is 32 years old. Where has the time gone with his career, man? Ronaldo actually looked solid in this match. After he scored a belter against Genoa, he not only set up Cuadrado, but scored one himself later in the match with a stunning free kick. Those have become extremely rare for him in the last few years, but once in a while he catches them perfectly, and it goes in. An own goal later made it 4-1 for Juve, another easy one as they have scored 13 goals in their last 4 matches, though they are all matches that you would have had to ask major questions of Sarri if he was unable to get results in them. Lecce and Genoa are 2 of the worst teams in the league, while Bologna and Torino are mid to lower end of the table as well. Still, can only beat what's in front of you, right? And soon Juve will have AC Milan and Atalanta in front of them. I can't wait for that match against Atalanta, man. Their last 4 meetings has seen each team win once, and the other 2 were draws. Oh yeah, and speaking of you should be winning, LOL, Inter are not an enjoyable team to watch right now. It's gotta be said. Not for neutrals, and certainly not for their own fans, as they have threatened to put in major dud performances, even though they've won 3 of their last 4 matches before playing Bologna this weekend. They led 1-0, and then in the second half, just absolute slop. Sloppy defending by Inter saw them concede twice to lose 2-1. And as my man Ricky Buzz said on Twitter, quote, "A tale of 2 halves. First half of the season, cutthroat, ruthless, and dangerous. Second since January has been a bit of a bumpy ride. Wins either became tough or we made it too hard on ourselves. Tactical/sub selection seemed a bit dodgy at times. That about sums it up, man. Inter started so well, and I felt as though Conte would give Juve a very tough time this season and push them right till the end, but they haven't even been the third best team in the league in my opinion. Despite being behind them on points, I'd put both Lazio and Atalanta ahead of Inter at the moment. Of course I meant Atalanta being behind them, not Lazio. Speaking of Milan clubs that are inconsistent, AC Milan has proven to be the best roller coaster you can ride, or watch I guess, as they won 3-0 this weekend against Lazio. Stefano Pioli's boys put 3 past what used to be the best defense in the league, en route to a massive win for the Rossoneri away to Lazio. All of the usual suspects scored for Milan as Ibra set up the mega-informed Hakan Çalhanoğlu before Ibra himself converted a penalty to make it 2-0. In the second half, Ante Rebic dealt the final blow to make it 3-0 and seal Lazio's fate as a Serie A participant and not a challenger. That might be harsh, I feel bad saying it, but with Juve opening up a 7-point lead on Lazio, you can't really see it going any other way but yet another title for the Bianconeri. Atalanta took on Cagliari, and a heavily rotated Atalanta side went down early from a fantastic strike from Gio Simeone, but some rotten luck for Cagliari and Simeone as he was robbed of his 5th goal in 5 matches when VAR picked out the slightest of handballs in the lead up to the goal. I feel for Simeone as it brushed against his hand when it was close to his body, like this basically, but lower. But with the new rules, a handball of any kind in the lead up to a goal will make that goal null. Muriel the Magic Man with a rare start after proving he's one of the best super subs out there in European football, and he nearly put Atalanta ahead when his strike beat Cragno but bounced off of the post, but Atalanta took the lead later from the penalty spot when Muriel converted. His 16th of the season, unfortunate for Cagliari and their young defender Andrea Carboni as he gave away the penalty quite stupidly with a shove on Muriel. So he got his 2nd yellow in just the 25th minute. A penalty from Muriel was actually the winner as Atalanta labored to the 3 points, which is to be expected though when they rotate their squad that much. 8 wins on the trot for Atalanta. They have extended their club record. All right, Napoli versus Roma, huge match. Editor Adrian's going to cover that.
Roma, where has the magic gone, man? They lost their 3rd match in a row this weekend, mind you. It was up against a formidable opponent in Napoli, whose only loss in the last 7 matches in the Serie A had been up against Atalanta. That's pretty impressive. The rest have been wins now after their 2-1 win over Roma. Lorenzo Insigne with the winner in the 82nd minute. I really thought that he was going to have a huge season, at least goal-scoring wise, and he's really fallen short. I mean, all of the drama at Napoli didn't help that prediction, but still. So that win is yet another in this incredible turnaround from Gennaro Gattuso as he brings Napoli up to 6th, but they're now level on points with Fonseca's Roma. Big up Napoli, Juve with the 7-point lead on Lazio, while Inter are now 11 points behind the leaders. Atalanta is about to pass Inter.
And that's the way the news goes for this weekend recap. I hope you had a lovely time, as I certainly had a lovely time hosting. My name is Adrian, this is Rabona TV, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!